a little. Okay, let's see. Push it up a little. I need assistance here. Thank God. I think this thing is not moving. I want to push it up a little so that I can. Okay, it's this one. Okay. All right. Good. Makes sense now. So now that we've gotten the setting, I want you to see how we decode, all right, concept and concepts, especially as it comes to anatomy, all right? And then we are looking at something interesting and new today, and we have looked at thorax in session yesterday in the other video, and today we are still looking at thorax, decoding areas we have not decoded. We have decoded all these areas like extents, the functions, the joints. Are we together now? We've decoded areas like the component characteristics, but area like thoracic wall and area like thoracic cavity, okay, the muscles, thoracic cavity, that's the intercostal space. We have not done that. So that's what we are going to be doing today. So first, watch how we are studying from book. Watch how we are voicing it out. Watch how we are saying it out but from book. Okay. Now, another session, we are going to be interacting what we are internalizing. Do you follow? Thumbs up in the comment section if you are following. Okay, so now I'll be taking note as I'm learning from book out. You also take note too as you're watching and learning from book out. Then the sessions that I pause to internalize or write out to recite, you also do the same. And then so that when we meet either in the WhatsApp channel to practice this, we call it study shop. You know, we have workshop. We say study shop. Okay, this one is study shop. You don't understand. What are you not going to hear in this channel? You get a lot of wonderful concepts and concepts and acronyms and mnemonics. And now it's study shop that is the latest. It's what you used to hear. Thumbs up if you are with me. And now you're hearing study shop. Okay, so we move on. So we said first we're going to list out the outline we want to study. And then that has not to do with the outline we have studied before. We have studied JEC, CFIM. Okay, that's Jack, see film. Oh, Jack, see film. We have done that. We have done that. Okay, so see this one. I'm watching the material. I'm not watching you the video. But when we're interacting, we'll be watching you the video because we have internalized and it's time to interact. And if someone is guesting us or joining us in the interaction session, we make sure we help him learn what we have earned when we were loading our brain from the picture we capture in the scripture. You don't understand. Okay, so we move on. We said we have done check EC, okay, check CFIM. We've done that. So now we want to look at other areas. All right, let's start from the end to the beginning. You know, we like starting from the end to the beginning. Okay, like the Jet C film, we started from the end, okay, that is joined to the beginning, which is meaning. So now here we are starting with listing out the outlines first of this concept, okay, in this material. Okay, remember that's what we do, this material that was given by a professor, by a lecturer. You can see it there on the screen, Dr. Anita Rani in 6 January 2015. But this material has been a threat to so many as students in medicine, in nursing, in pharmacy, and many clinical and para-preclinical courses. Okay, so now we are starting. V is for what? Vertebra level. You can take note of that. As I'm taking note, okay, learn as we learn. Monkey see, monkey do. It's a business of apprenticeship. Studying is a business of apprenticeship. Okay, that's vertebral levels. The next thing you find there is diaphragm. Do you see that? Diaphragm. Now we are going to study diaphragm differently as a topic. Okay, diaphragm. Okay, so we move away from that. So we will not pick that as a topic, sorry, as a subtopic. Diaphragm is a topic on its own. All right, and so this is still the structure of what? Structure of thoracic outlet. So you can see thoracic outlet, things that are coming out from the outlet. Okay, be much more, so we can pick that as a topic. We said thoracic outlet. Okay, thoracic outlet. Okay, thoracic outlet. Today, I'm going to show you something very interesting, and that is going to be how you Okay, so we're still on this. We're still on this. How do I turn this thing now? How do I bring it?
Like
To go up a little.
this.
Excuse me. Okay, so I needed to arrange that so that you can see me closely. That I'm not looking at your face, I'm looking at the book. This is called Facebook, not Facebook. So I'm looking at the book, the material, I'm screen sharing. That's what I'm looking at. And we are picking the topics, the subtopics first. The one that are topic, we will not pick them because it will be studied as a topic. So we picked thoracic. What else it is to be picked? The lacing. This lacing is what we call this lacing. Okay, let's drop lacing somewhere because lacings can be considered when we are looking at clinical significance or applied anatomy. All right. So we talk about what else. We've already done thoracic inlet. We've done structures passing through them. So let's look at okay, let's look at the relations of thoracic inlet. We call it relation. Okay, relation of thoracic inlet. Relation. Next thing is thoracic cavity. Okay, thoracic cavity. The next thing is what? Thoracic venous drainage. Okay, venous drainage. Okay, the next subtopic is the venous drainage for this. The next subtopic is blood supply. Blood supply. Okay, the next what do you find there? The next thing there is gonna be, I hope these people can hear me very well. Okay, my video, my audio is right up. Okay, after blood supply, we talk about the van the van of the thorax. Okay, or that's the van that takes you from the thoracic cage to the intercostal space. Okay, the van of the thorax, or we call it van of costal groove. So we look at the van, okay, the van of thorax, okay, to where costal groove, okay, costal groove. A groove is a projection on a bone, okay, or on a soft tissue. All right. So this relation, okay, this relation, we've looked at this relation before. This anterior thoracic wall seen from behind, given the structure. So we also look at this as what? As a relation. We look at as a relation. Okay, so neurovascular arrangement in an intercostal space, van of thorax. We picked that before. Next thing we are looking at is intercostal space. You see, in upper and lower limb, we'll be talking about spaces such as quadrangular space. If you remember the 17 topics we shared, if you don't, go check the video or go watch the video. Very important, go watch the video. Okay, and then we talk about what else. What else did we talk about? We said the spaces also include triangular space, upper triangular space, lower triangular space. Cubital fossa is a space. Okay, there are a lot of spaces. So thorax too has space. We call it intercostal space. So you can put it space. Space. All right. Thorax has space. I hope you have space. Then we talk about the thoracic wall. Okay, this was thoracic cavity. Talk about thoracic wall. Okay, thoracic wall. And the next thing we talk about is the action of those joints. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, action of, okay, action of those joints or action of muscles. Okay, action of muscles. Okay, so what kind of movements, okay, is done by those muscles, and what kind of action is done by those muscles, and what movement is done by that. And don't forget, you've generated a mnemonic for remembering how to discuss muscle in lower limb exams or your MB physical or whatever. Okay, and we said internship student doctors. Okay, internship student doctors take important action takes important action only, or takes only important action before nurses can leave clinic. Okay, so that's the outline for study muscle. So that's all we need to look at today. 10 things we are looking at today. 10 things we are looking at. All right, so we're going to make a interesting video to help you appreciate these 10 things that we are looking at. So in a minute, I'm going to come out with an acronym or a mnemonics. Okay, just give me 1 minute. I'll come out with an acronym or a mnemonics for remembering these 10 things we have to learn. Is that okay now? Or we add it with the ones we've already learned, okay, and see what acronym or mnemonic will come out. This way to make the learning interesting. This is just 12 minutes to it, and we already brought out 10 outlines. We have added it to the 7 outline. That makes it 17 outlines for thorax. Okay, and yet we are not done. We still have to talk about the thoracic cage. Thoracic cage is not here because it's a topic on its own. So thoracic cage, thoracic lacing, okay, that's outlet lacing and inlet lacing, okay, as well as thoracic cage. We've not looked at that, okay? So these are the things we will look at as topics. But if you can look at these 17 things in this concept, you have mastered the anatomy of thorax. Okay, so like I said, give me 1 minute, let me generate this thing, and I will show you exactly how I get it done. All right, thank you. Okay, so I'm here now and I'm showing you exactly how I'm getting it done. I told you it's a handheld process all through it all. How we build some of these things, how we master some of these things, how we can train you to be a leader with some of these things while you are still answerable and loyal to the channel and to us. So you learn more. As you earn more, you learn more. The day you stop being loyal, learning, okay, is the day you stop gaining from what we are doing. Okay, but we are happy if you're independent, but much more know that we are connection from connection. Cells connected together give tissue. Tissue connected together give organ. Also, we have to keep on being connected, even though we know when to be independent. So I now go to an AI, any AI. You said form acronym from the letters below for me to remember what each letter stands for. Okay, when I'm done with that, I'm also going to tell it form mnemonics for me. All right, and you're going to watch how I do the mnemonics on. Okay, so the V is for vertebral level, T is for thoracic outlet, R is for relations, the next one T is for thoracic cavity, the next one V, okay, the next one is B for blood supply, next one is S for space, the next one is T for thorax, okay, and the next one, okay, S for space, T for thorax, okay, and then A for action. All right, let's also put C for clinical correlates. C for clinical correlates. Okay, clinical significance. Either correlate is usually used in physiology. Okay, the significance is used in what? Is used in anatomy. All right, so I'm sending it now. Bang. Okay, and guess what? See, very tall rabbit travel very bright streets to avoid cars. Wow, this is amazing and I love it. So instead of giving me acronym, because the acronym will not make sense, it gives me mnemonics. Mnemonics when you use words. And you see, this is lovely. Very tall rabbits travel very bright streets to avoid cars. Wow, wow, wow. Are you seeing how we are doing it now? This is how we used to remember what we remember. Your mind needs hanger, just like your clothes needs wardrobe to hang those thoughts properly arranged. Are you following? I wanted to even say, okay, if the acronym does not make sense, you should give me mnemonics. Now he's already giving me mnemonics. Now, in another video, when we are studying another difficult thing, we're going to show you how to form mnemonics in the ones things you like. Maybe you like sport, you know names of football stars. I'm going to show you how to form mnemonic in football stars. And maybe let's say you like food, you know names of different food like Linda AKG, okay? And we're going to show you how you use names of food to form mnemonics that you can recall. Is it food, maybe home videos or anime, or maybe you're a religious that you church a lot and there's no day you don't remember one keyword in religion. So we're going to use what you are used to what you need to be used to, which you're supposed to be used to. Thumbs up if you get that point. Are you with me? Okay, so I'm going to write these beautiful mnemonics down. Okay, you're going to take time to write it down. Okay, because you see, now we are internalizing. See how we are spending time on a little thing, and then see how we are mastering from plaster, from so we are smashing it from ashes, okay, to arches, okay, to apexes, okay. See how we are crescendoing and continue like that. Okay, so we said very tall rabbit. Wow, very tall rabbit. Okay, comma, travel, very tall rabbit, travel, very bright street. Very tall rabbit, travel, very bright street. Okay, to avoid cars, to avoid cars. Wow, this makes sense. So we are going back to our material now. I hope you wrote this down and I hope you learned something. So if you are learning something from this channel, once again, don't fail to subscribe. Someone can use this. You can use this. You need this. Even if you are not doing medicine, surgery, you're not doing pharmacy, nursing, you're doing any course, you see the method we are learning. Okay, see the method we are storing, we are loading, we are retrieving, we are retaining. See the method, how we are able to remember all the 10 topics, subtopics we need to use to describe a thorax. Just watch it. Are you following? Thumbs up if you are following me. So we get back to our material now. Okay, so we come back to material now. So in the material, I'm going to drop this again so that okay, let me hang it. It is hangable. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Okay, so you're following now? Are you following now? Okay, so don't forget, very tall rabbits travel very bright streets to avoid cars. There are 10 of them. Very tall rabbits travel very bright road to avoid cars. We're going to do that again. Very tall rabbits. Okay, very tall rabbit, very tall rabbit, very tall rabbit, travel very bright road to avoid cars. Okay, so turn to the next page, fresh page, turn to a fresh page and see if you can write it out. If you cannot write it out, okay, pause the video if you're playing it, when you're playing it back, and do what? And do your recitation. You recite. Okay, because repetition brings retention. Do you follow? You recite it, then you write it out before you come back to play the video. So me now, I'm opening the fresh page and I'm going to write the mnemonics down for learning the 4 topics. Remember the first one we learned, Jack see film. Now we're learning another one, very tall rabbits travel very bright road to avoid cars. Very tall rabbits travel very tall, very bright road. They travel on a bright road so that they can see road when so they avoid cars. They don't travel road that is dark. Do you follow? Good. Okay. I'm writing my own now. Very tall rabbits travel very bright road to avoid cars. Are you seeing it now? So what do they stand for? That's the next thing I'm going to internalize. The very here stands for what? You can say it stands for the vertebral level. That was the first thing we did. Look at it in the material. Vertebral levels. That was the first thing we did. Vertebral levels. Okay. The next thing we did was thoracic outlet. Thoracic outlet. Okay. And the next thing was the relations, okay, both anterior relations and the posterior relation. Remember, we saw the anterior relations, okay, we saw the relations, okay, so the relations, look at it now. Relation, where is it now? Relations, good. See, thoracic inlet, these are the relations, anterior and posterior, lateral and upper, all right, lateral and upper. And then the posterior, they also give us a diagram of the posterior. So we learn, we capture. You see, the anterior here is this one. The anterior is this one. From behind, you also find it. Anterior from behind. Okay. So after that, we talked about the thoracic. After we talked about the thoracic outlet, the next thing we talked about was the thoracic. Was the thoracic what? Cavity. Was the thoracic cavity. Yeah, thoracic cavity. You can see it here. Okay, the potential space of the thorax. All right, intercostal space. After we are done with that, we talk about the venous returns or the venous drainage. So once again, very tall rabbit. Very stands for what? Vertebral level. Tall stands for what? Thoracic outlet. Rabbit stands for what? Relations. We have the anterior relations, okay? We have the anterior relations. We have the posterior relations. We have the upper relations, and we have the lateral relations. Lateral means away from, this is the midline. It means away from the midline. Lateral to a structure could also mean away from that structure. If they say lateral to your right eye, it means away from the right eye. Away from the right eye. If they say medial to the right eye, it means towards the right eye. Towards the right eye. And the lateral can be two ways. It can be, this is the right eye, this is the right eye, can be away from both sides. Medial to the right eye can be towards the right eye from both sides. Towards the right eye from both sides. Now you appreciate this later when we are doing the practical session in anatomy, where we understand some concepts, some terms, some region, some anatomical planes, as well as some classifications. And that is one of the 17 topics in the anatomy of upper and lower limb. If you have not watched the video, please subscribe, share to go and watch it. Okay, it can help a life. All right, so we continue. We said very tall rabbit, the mnemonics again. For remember the subtopics we want to look at today. We said very tall rabbits, okay, travel very bright road to avoid cars, 10 of them. And the very stands for the vertebral level. The tall stands for the thoracic outlet. The rabbit stands for the relations, okay? That's the anterior, posterior, lateral, as well as what? Upper or superior relations. Okay, now we move on. Say that's very tall rabbit. Okay, let's look at the next one. Travel, very tall rabbit, travel very bright road. Very tall rabbit, travel very tall road. So the travel stands for thoracic cavity. Remember the first T was thoracic outlet, this one is thoracic cavity. Travel very bright road. So the very there now is venous drainage. The other very was what? Vertebral level. This one is venous drainage. Okay, because it's believed the thorax is fed, so they have is fed with blood, so oxygenated blood. So they need to return, okay, deoxygenated blood. Okay, deoxygenated, or what we call impure blood. It doesn't mean the blood is impure, but it has a level of lack of oxygen. The oxygen that was there was used up, is going back to peak oxygen. Okay, so we move on. Okay, travel very bright road. What does the bright stand for? Blood supply. This one now is arterial blood supply. The other one was venous blood drainage. So they supply blood for blood supply, and they return blood from for nerve, vein, what do you call it now? Uh, Venous drainage. It returns blood. Okay, so we said very tall rabbits travel very bright road. Okay, so the road there stands for what? Look at it again. Stands for very tall rabbit travel very bright road. No, travel very bright street. Yeah, because the street now is space. You are getting me and I'm getting you. See now, you see sometimes when somebody come out to do a channel, oh, he's speaking from the brain, and say, wow, when shall I shall? When shall I get there? But don't shall again, don't regret again. This is a session, this is a channel where you're going to have the privilege, you're going to have the opportunity to do what? To master from scratch. You make mistake while we are making me. You know, one other channels don't show you is the mistake. They don't show, but this one will show you. See now, I make mistake. If not, you think you are the worst person who don't know anything in all the world, and I'm the best guy, and there's not like unto me in all the earth. But it's not true. God didn't take time to create a non-entity. Do you follow? Some people are with me, meaning you can actually become whoever you want to become if you believe and if you begin. So you believe, that's why you know about this channel. You need to begin, that's why you click the subscribe button and you watch those long hours, okay, till the end. You watch it to be part of the vibe of learning it. See now, I make mistake. Very tall rabbit do what? Travel very bright street. Instead of street, I say very bright road. You see now, we make mistake, but as you keep practices improve, removes the mistake, okay, overrides the mistake. Do you follow? It rhymes and makes your life rhythmic and fantastic and wow. Okay, so we said very tall rabbit stands for vertebral level, tall stands for thoracic outlet, rabbit stands for relation. Travel very bright road, travel very bright street. See now, I want to make the mistake again. You also try and see where you catch yourself and drop it in the comment section. When you're practicing this, which one will you find it difficult? Which one did you make mistake? And that's when we say learning can be fun. So speak it out. And someone may say you are mad. Accept it. MAD, mad, making a difference. If you don't make study a different way, guess what? You will never make a distinction. That's the truth. But that's, by the way, I didn't come here to do motivation, come here to do studyvation. You don't understand. So very bright, very tall rabbit, travel very bright street. The street there stands for spaces. And what's the space? Intercostal space. Okay, intercostal space. To avoid cars. Now, THO there stands for thoracic what? Stands for thoracic wall. We're going to find out what is the wall made of, okay? What's the wall made of? And then we're going to look at avoid. Avoid there indicates action, okay? Action. What are the actions of those joints and muscle we talked about? That's what the action to avoid CAS. And the CAS stands for what? Clinical significance or applied anatomy. Don't forget, whatever structure you are studying in any region of the human body, you must know what will make somebody to come with that structure to your clinic. That's why they call it clinical significance of that part. So the applied anatomy is the normal functioning, the normal application, the normal use of that body part or structure. But the clinical significance is usually a disease state or a pathological state. Do you follow? Thumbs up if you are with me. All right. So now that we've learned this, see, for me, I don't know how many minutes is this. This is 31 minutes since we started this. Now, for me, if we end this session here, it is a powerful point. One, you have internalized the mnemonics for remembering the what? The 10 topics, 10 subtopics you can use to describe anatomy of the thorax. Now, if you add this with the short recap that I did, you see that in that short recap that I did, 11 minutes, I told you, okay, is it six? No, seven. Okay, told you seven, okay, sub outlines or sub topics you can use to describe thorax. Now, if you add it with this 10 one, guess what? It becomes 17. Now, for bones in upper and lower limb, it was 16. For for joints in upper and lower limb, it was 15. For muscles in upper and lower limb, it was 10. And then for thorax, it is 17. Are you following it now? Now, see how we combine and connect and relate all these things together so that you will know that anatomy, yes, is bulky, is filled with, they speak in tongues in lecture halls, they write in tongues of Greeks and Latin. But guess what? If you also take your time out and watch a channel like this, guess what? You're going to have a hack that many senior colleagues will never tell you. You know, a lecturer will say, oh, form discussion group. How do you do discussion group? I'm not giving you opportunity. Join the live session. Join the WhatsApp channel where you practice what you learn in the live session. And then comment in the comment section. This is actually how to master this thing. If anybody comes here and says, master anatomy in 5 minutes, I can always do that, but I will be honest with you. Yes, you can master anatomy in 5 minutes if you have plastered anatomy in 5 hours. If you have scattered anatomy, scribbled anatomy in 5 days. If you have space, study it. That's why we have study shop. Others have workshop. Some even workshop. But we have study shop. When you study shop, you don't understand the honor that comes, the joy that comes, the happiness that comes. You sleep a night to your exams, and guess what? You don't have to be bothering yourself with headache, migraine, a week to exam. Say exam is coming 1 week's time, 2 weeks time. Begin to cry to the Lord for help. Now the Lord is bringing a channel to you for help. You are not doing what you're supposed to do. But if you do what you're supposed to do, a night to exam, a week to exam. Not only that, as a student in medicine, on surgery or nursing and pharmacy, or all those MLS and public health and paramedical optometry, guess what they like? They said once they see, oh, my son is a doctor, my brother is a doctor, my child member, my friend is they don't want to know if you know this thing. If you are passing through heaven and hell and passing through the shadow of death in your courses. But here is a solution. Why they expect much of you, you need to inspect much of this so that you'll be able to achieve all. If your desire does not act, if you don't perspire by acquiring these things that you are desiring, guess what? You are going to aspire and you are not going to be a desire to anybody any longer. So it's going to be a once upon a time. It used to be, but no longer I get them before, no be property. Sorry for that, PG, but let's move on. So we have talked about the 10 topics or subtopics you can use to describe thorax. Okay, we add this to the one we did. Okay, it's going to be 17 topics. The one we did was Jack Sifim. Hello, Jack Sifim. That is JEC-C-FIN. That is joint, extent, composition, characteristics, function, inlet of thorax or thoracic inlet, and the meaning or introduction to thorax. And now if you are here again, we said very tall rabbits travel very bright streets to avoid cars. And what does that mean? It means vertebral levels. Very tall stands for thoracic outlet. Very tall. Rabbit stands for relations, posterior and anterior, in lateral and upper, that's superior. And then we talk about very tall rabbit, travel very bright street. Now, travel there stands for thoracic cavity. Okay, very, stands for what? Venous return or venous drainage. Very bright road. The bright day stands for what? Blood supply. Talking about the arteries. You name the arteries. Okay, we are going to name the arteries. Now, as we studied yesterday, you're going to see us study again. Like these arteries, there are about 4 or 5 of them. So we say SCID. Good. The deep cervical artery, the internal thoracic and this one supreme intercostal. You're going to see how we use acronym to understand or to learn to master what we are not used to. And that's one special uniqueness of this channel. That's what amazes, because many people have made requests. Oh, we like the way you study. Can you give us your notes? I know how many senior colleagues in the school we've been, the other schools say, they say you're a teacher. Can you send this to us? Can you give us your note? For crying out that I don't have a note. How who has that time to write notes after you have dozens of materials that is bigger than the devil's box? You don't understand. So what do? You save this thing in your brain. So that's why we are using this channel to pull out what we have saved in our brain all this while of studying, so that whether we have the time for you or not, so that you not say we are proud when we say, so we just send you a YouTube channel, or just say you go and watch this channel. We have learners there, we have leaders there, we have built and raised, we've studied with, and we've stored it with, we have retained it with them, we have related with them. And then guess what? You can relate. When people are discussing and you don't understand what they are discussing, they say, oh, I can't relate, or he can't relate. But here we make you relate with anatomy. We convert you from just a student who is staring and moping at the lecturer to someone who feels like a student when a lecturer is talking. Imagine you understand your upper and lower limb and the muscles and the space and the joint, and you understand your thorax, your abdomen, and the pelvis and the perineum, and then a lecturer is coming to sing that song in Latin and Greek as usual, and you begin to mention, oh, I hear about superior mediastinum. I have seen it before in a channel. I hear about the inferior mediastinum. I have seen it before in a channel. I hear about this one. I have seen it before. The vertebral level, the thoracic outlet, the venous return, the relation anterior superior posterior and the lateral. I've heard about this how do you call it now, the street now is the spaces, the intercostal space, this other the van of the costal costal cartilage, or the costal whatever, because it's the van moves it from a thoracic cage to this one. There's the space, even the vein, the artery, the nerve, they are found there. So you say you've heard about, and so as they're talking, you're not completely like idiots. A friend just sent a message to me, say how a lecturer was just abusing. They say you are cows and animals on uniform, and you don't, even when I make mistake, you don't even know, because you have sworn not to know. And here's a channel that destroyed that belief system. It can be creating inferiority complex. It can be bringing a Down syndrome. So it can be making someone depressed and down, as depressed as the diaphragm is in the middle, depressed as the diaphragm is in the middle. Okay, and all that. So they will be fine. All right, enough of that distracting talk and basic part of the internalization session. Let's move back to what we're saying. So we said very tall rabbit, okay, travel very bright streets to avoid cars. The CAR stands for clinical significance or applied anatomy. Okay, that's what the CAR stands for. Okay, that's what the CAR stands for. Okay, this R stands for that. Okay, the CAR stands for that. Okay, so that's what the CAR stands for. All right, the CAR stands for that. Okay, so now, okay, that's what the CAR stands for. Okay, then we said, okay, I think I'm okay here now, because the other one was lifting up my face up too much. So I can relax my face more. Good. And feel good on top of the wall. Ooh la la. So now we move on. So we said now that very tall rabbit, V for what? V for very tall rabbit, V for vertebral levels. Tall for thoracic athletes. Just like we saw thoracic inlet or inlets of thorax in the JEC C fin, okay? We now talk about the rabbit, the relations, okay? Travel, very bright street. Travel there stands for thoracic cavity. Very there stands for venous drainage, okay? Bright there stands for blood supply. And then street there stands for spaces. To avoid car is the last mnemonics. There stands for the third day stands for thoracic wall, and avoid day stands for action. What are some of the actions of those muscles and joints we mentioned? And then CAS stands for clinical relevant. What a session to internalize. That's why we call this link, we call it decoding, so we call it unlocking, okay, unlocking your anatomy of the thorax. See how we are unlocking it, and I hope you are seeing the unlocking now. So tomorrow now, you are languaging in it, you are discussing, and you see what you learn and what you have have really internalized, guess what? Nobody can take it for you. Even if you are sworn not to read and look at it again, it's just like a music you have heard before, and they were singing it. Golden harps are sounding. Come on, angels' voices ring. Amen. With the gates are open, open for the King. Christ the King of glory. Echo, Jesus King of love. Now you see all these wonderful things that happen. For me, it's a song that even though I didn't know it was sung all over. Every morning you go to devotion ground or to assembly hall, they are singing this song. And when we sing, we feel lost in His fullness and filled with His love. Do you get that point? That's the same way it is. As we look at the vertebral levels, okay, where the thorax is, as we look at the thoracic outlet, the structures that are found coming out of the thorax, which we call inferior aperture of the thorax, okay? The other one, thoracic inlet, is the superior aperture of the thorax. And then we talk about the relations of the thorax. What are the things that surrounds the thorax? The upper part, that's the superior. The lateral part, lateral, that's away from it. What are the things that are away from it? The posterior part and the anterior part. What are the structures you find there? The reason is because as a medical practitioner or paramedical practitioner, you need to know so that when you are cutting or when there is a cut, either by accident or you are cutting, doing incision, okay, or you're doing injection, whatever you're doing, you will know the structure so you don't go and touch what you are not supposed to touch and cause more problem. Are you seeing the clinical importance of what we are doing? So it's not just come and memorize for passing exam sake. No, but come and internalize for application sake. Do you follow now? Thumbs up if you are following. Drop in the comment section if you are following. Share this if you are following. And then subscribe. Get someone to learn this if you are following. Okay, so we move on now. We say that stands for the thorax, thoracic outlet, relations of it. After relation, we say very tall rabbit, travel, very bright road. Travel stands for thoracic cavity. Very stands for venous drainage, and then bright stands for blood supply. Spaces, not road. Travel very bright spaces. Sorry, travel very bright streets. Okay, travel very bright street. The street stands for spaces, that is intercostal space. Okay, to avoid cast. So they stand for thoracic wall. Okay, and then avoid stands for actions of those muscles and those joints we talked about. And then CAR stands for clinical, like I told you, clinical importance of this thorax. Like for example, there's a material we look at and it tells you that if you put your hand here in this space where you have intrathoracic inlet, all right, that inlet of thorax, if you put your hand there, you can actually feel the pressure of a patient or a client, whether he's having high BP, it means you're going to find the pressure there. So let's try it. Let me keep quiet for a while and do my own. You keep quiet for a while, but you don't use your thumb. You use your index finger or your middle finger. Anybody that uses tongue is about to give the person 2-finger strike, and you know that's a sacral, even though you don't intend it. But using, tongue carries a lot of tenor muscle. Don't worry. When we look at the anatomy of the upper limb and the muscle, you see tenor muscle, you see muscle, okay, tenor muscle, you see abductor pollicis, you see a lot of those interosseous muscle, first interosseous, second interosseous, first lubrical, second interosseous. You're going to see. Now, you see this thing I'm rapping as if I'm rapping a Greek. By the time you watch this station, go patiently follow this station and do what we ask you. You can be speaking more than that and say, he's speaking in tongues. Much learning has made you mad. No, it's not much learning, it's much earning. And when we earn, we make the world better. You can't earn from what you don't learn. So we move on. So we're done with the topics now. Let's look into which of them we can pick before we go. Is that okay now? So let's start with thoracic levels. Okay, thoracic levels. Look at it. What is the thoracic level of the thorax? What's the vertebral levels of the thorax? The vertebral levels of the thorax is very simple. From T1 to T12. Those are the vertebral levels. From T1 to T12. Okay, so vertebral levels T1 to 1 to T12. T1 to T12. Not only that, between T1, watch this now, between T1, okay, you can even count it here, see? If you cannot count it here, I'll give you another one. Okay, I'll give you another one. Let me give you another one for you to count it better, okay? Because this is capture, not just Memorization. When you see, they say seeing is believing. Let me I tell you, seeing is sinking. When you see it, it will sink in. The same way, when you sing it, it will sink in. So it's either you see it to sink in, or you say it or sing it for it to sink in. Yeah. If you sing a song, they call it chorus. In fact, if you hear in class, they say, we don't need chorus answer, meaning they need solo answer. Now, for it to be a chorus answer, meaning it has been said over and over, and so many people know. But do you notice solo in church or in opera music? Only one person gives solo. The whole because everybody will not have time to be special, to be at the top, and to become a topic for you. It means the top I see, so they see you at the top. It means you have to spend extra time to watch this video to see how we internalize, so you understand this. So when you see it, it sink in. You know, when you see something, somebody does not need to put words in your mind, say this after me, repeat this after, because you've seen it. Now imagine when you combine the power of seeing and the power of saying and singing. Once they mix together, I don't know. That's why we say join this channel to plaster and master. Join this channel to get it right, to learn it once and earn it forever, to learn it once and it's loaded forever, to program it into your gray matter once, okay, and it's there forever. You learn. In fact, if you hear me make mistake in another video, say, oh no, it's a mistake, or is it that there's something else? You see now, I see that there's something else. Oh, you made mistake. Or if you yourself, maybe you will know. It's not always like this. It's always very tall rabbits travel very bright streets to avoid cars, because you say it over and over, you've seen it over and over, and it has sink in over and over. It's not, when something sink inside the river, there's no way it can come out except the miracle of Elijah. Okay, it's sinking, so it has iron. That's why I say iron sharpening iron. What is iron? I sharpen you. Okay, I sharpen you through saying it. So this is very important. So as much as we teach, we reach. As much as we bring each of you to understand each of these things, we must make sure we achieve this. So let's move on. The vertebral level is from T1 to T12. And I say let's count it using another picture to capture it. Look at this. This is it. The extent of it. See how we connect the extent of thorax with the vertebral levels now? Anatomy is connected. You don't understand. Okay, so you count it. This is T12. You can see T12 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you can see T1 here. T1, T2, T3. There's even somebody I used to call T-man. So he's a thorax man, child. And if they call you T-boy, it means you're a thorax boy. And that's your vertebral level, meaning you are a heartfelt, compassionate one. You don't get angry seriously, easily. You are not, in fact, you are fit to go and study medicine and nursing, because you don't need to carry somebody in your mind. If not, a medication that you should give in 30 minutes, you give in 30 seconds. You just drop it in idiot. After all, the war hates me. How can this happen to me? Because you don't have the medical psychology or the nursing mentality. It's a course study in school. And this is just a digression to connect what we are doing, what we need to do. So we said T1, T2. So this is the vertebral levels. So you're connecting the vertebral levels. See what you find between T1 and T4 is the superior mediastinum. So as we talk about the vertebral level, we have T1 to T4. It's called what? Superior mediastinum. Now between T5, okay, and T12 is called inferior mediastinum. T5 and T12 is called inferior mediastinum. Now between T12 down, okay, T12 down, between T12 and let's count it 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, between T12 and about somewhere T5 also, you have T4. Between T12 and T4, you have posterior mediastinum. Now you may say, is it not confusing? T5 to T12 is inferior mediastinum, and then T4 to T12 is posterior mediastinum. No, remember, posterior is at the back. So we are talking about the back part. Now, inferior mediastinum is from the bottom. Okay, you may not appreciate that. Let me show you in another video, so you appreciate this mediastinum something. Okay, just give me a second. Let me by secret way. I rather have Jesus. Have you seen it now? Superior mediastinum, inferior mediastinum, and posterior mediastinum. I needed to show you this. I needed to show you this. Okay, this is part of the thing I used to teach the JEC theme. Okay, that's to show you the connection of this concept. Okay, superior a bit above, inferior from T5 to T12, posterior from T4 to T12, but at the back. Are you seeing it now? Thumbs up if you are with me. If you don't get that, please ask question in the channel. MEDS spacebar SURG spacebar COURSE spacebar mastery. Med Search Mastery. That is the name of the WhatsApp channel. Go in there so that you can show there what you studied. You can share there what you studied. You can have space to store more if you don't share the past ones. That's why you must go there and work. So we are trying to use that as a follow-up. All right, another 1 minute and we'll get back to the slide we're working. Hope you are gaining something from this session. Okay. So do subscribe, do share. Just pause this video for a while, share it to like 5 groups, put it in your status, WhatsApp status, your social media. Help other clinical and paraclinical or preclinical students to understand this. You know, a lecturer once met me the other time and told me, hey, we are sending our first clinicians, okay, to go and study what it means in upper and lower limb. I said, wow. So when I see the plight of some clinicians, we have to do some of the things we are doing because these are the people that will treat us, our loved ones and relations. So if we don't do the right thing by share, don't say, this does not concern me. This is not medicine. I'm not in medicine and surgery. So even you are in medicine and surgery and all that. Don't do like that. Let's help to build a better world we can live in. Is that okay now? Thumbs up if you are with me. Okay. So 1 second, we get back. I'm trying to end it. Okay. Okay, so we said all right, so we said we are coming with very tall rats, travel very bright streets. Where's myself? I need to see myself and as well as hear myself. Okay, so I appreciate you're really getting the demonstration as well as the definition and the declaration, DDD. Okay, discipline, diligence, do you understand? And devotion. Okay, so we have the very tall rabbits travel very bright streets to avoid cars. And that stands for vertebral levels, which will show you. The next one, tall, stands for thoracic outlets. Rabbit stands for relations. Okay. Travel very bright streets. Travel stands for thoracic cavity. Very venous drainage, bright blood supply, street spaces, that's intercostal spaces, to avoid car, thoracic wall, action of joint and muscles, and clinical this thing. Is it not simple enough? Is it not simple? Don't give someone your thorax, so don't break somebody's thorax, so and be careful of your thorax. So there are some play you don't play, touching the thorax, hitting the thorax, and all that. Okay, you must be very, very careful with the thorax. That's why we are doing this. Okay, if you don't take care of yourself as we are studying this, you will need to pay a medical practitioner to take care of you. So that's why one of the things, even if you're an elderly person, a young elderly person or whatever, one of the reasons you should watch this channel share is so that you learn to take care of yourself because you have very fragile structures in this part of the body. All right, so we said the thorax, as we were talking about, the vertebral levels of the thorax is from T1 to T12. And we say from T1 to T4 is what we call the superior mediastinum. And then from T5 to T12 is what we call inferior mediastinum anteriorly. Then posteriorly, we have posterior mediastinum. Are you following now? That's what we're looking at in the extent of this thing. Remember the extent was SIP, check CFIN. SIP was superior mediastinum, inferior mediastinum, and posterior mediastinum. S for exterior mediastinum, I for inferior mediastinum, P for posterior mediastinum. Watch how we learn what we learn. Watch how we accumulate these thoughts one by one. Watch how these thoughts are very important. Don't fail to understand this concept. Do you follow? We move on. Okay, so now we still look at it again, the vertebral levels. What are the structures we find? So in the superior mediastinum, you have seen the vertebral levels. Okay, what are the structures there? You can see manibrum, sternal angle, usually called sternal angle of Lewis. And then what else do you find? Anterior mediastinum. That one now is the inferior, okay, inferior and inferior, we call it posterior inferior mediastinum. You know, in anatomy, they can join two descriptions together. You can hear things like superior inferior, in medioferior, you know, just join up. That's meaning coming from up to back or coming from up to front, okay, and all that. So you find in the superior mediastinum, you have what? You have the mass. You have the mass. That is, you have the manibrum, you have this the angle of sternum. Okay, that's what we call mass. Okay, mass. All right. So while some people are attending mass every now and then, you don't forget M for what? Manibrum. Okay, and A for what? Angle of sternum, or you call sternal angle of Lewis. Sternal angle of Lewis. That's a very important examination part. You know, in a flyer and a thumbnail, we tell you, we're going to show you areas of interest. Yes, anatomy is wide. We tend to know it for the essence of the use, but it's the essence of a passing exam. You must know areas examiners ask. They don't joke. They believe before you to be a medical, at least you should know that people usually have problem in this area. Joints have issue to be, because people don't drink water. People don't even know how to, those that drink don't know how to drink well, don't know when to drink. Like now, I'm going to drink my water. I'm going to drink my water. It's good to see. Not just water, it is medicated or educated water. I take my time to drink my water. That's the only fuel I give to lubricate my joints, you see. So people don't drink water, okay? They don't know when to space interval and all that. So when they don't do that, there's going to be problem in some of those joints. They say, chest pain, chest pain, heartburn and all that. Are you taking care of your heart? Are you taking care of your thorax? Are you taking care? Do you even know the vertebral levels? Do you know when you rush food and food get and block up in the one of the structures that passes through the thoracic inlet, os vagus, rotator, if you are there, you recall it. And then now your vertebral levels, the T1 to T4, which is the superior mediastinum that has a mass, manibrum and angle of sternum, okay, or called sternal angle of Lewis, okay, angle of sternum, okay. Guess what? Are you aware that some of the attitude or habit we do, it doesn't matter. After all, I feel good, okay, and I'm top of the world, and there's not like unto me. I've tried. Now is it easy? In fact, nobody is doing a percent of what I'm doing. Guess what? This thing we are doing and this thing we are talking about are things that your lifestyle is what will take you to the bedside of the hospital. So it's either you correct it today, okay, practice it. If not, you need to pay some. Hippocrates made a statement. He said, this is very interesting. He said, if you don't eat your food like drug, he said you will start eating drug like food. Don't worry. Say you don't want to be careful. Oh, bring my drug. It's time for my drug. If you want to avoid that, it's time for food. When we say food, it doesn't need to be you eat a bowl of food, just something little. Okay, like now I'm going to take something little, just a pause. Okay, so say take something little. For example, see now, this is okay, not. You wash it, okay, and then after washing it, okay, pick another one. Just a little. The body needs just a little. Okay, the same way drugs are just a little. Is it not true? So if you don't take this thing little by little, okay, just a little. Guess what? You need to be taking little drugs. If you are not taking little nuts, you see, little drugs, if not little nuts. Little nuts, if not little drugs. Okay, so that's just by the way, just to show you some of these things. It sounds good, tastes good. Your brain must interpret it as food. Okay, so back to the video. Okay, now we said the thorax, okay, has vertebral levels. We have the superior, inferior, and then we talk about that. Then we say the superior, the structure, major structure there is the manibrum and the sternal angle of Lewis. We say mass. Manibrum angle of sternum or sternal angle of Lewis. Okay. Now, in the inferior, anteriorly, you have anterior mediastinum. Did you see where you have the body? So anterior mediastinum, okay, anterior mediastinum, okay, you have the body of sternum, okay, and then middle mediastinum, you have what? You have the structure there, okay. You're going to see that structure in the middle mediastinum, okay. That's the viscera. Okay, so moving away from there, I just want to show you that structure there, as in that place. Okay, I think I can see some here. Good. You see the lungs. So it's not just telling you something, but showing you. So you have the lungs in the middle, in the sternum. Okay, the lung is there. You have a lung here, you have a lung here. All right, your middle mediastinum. Okay, middle mediastinum. Okay, all right, middle mediastinum. Okay. So we move on. Well, when we look at anatomy of the lungs, that's the thoracic cavity. Okay, that's the structures in those potential space like the lungs, the heart. You're going to see some of these things we're talking about. Very related, very connected. Okay, so we have talked more of length about the anatomy of the vertebral levels. We said T1 to T12, between T1 to T4. Okay, between T1, watch this now, between T1 to T4 is the superior mediastinum. Between T5 to T12 is inferior mediastinum. The same thing between T4 to T12 is posterior mediastinum. Now, in that posterior inferior mediastinum, we have the anterior mediastinum. Okay, so just where you have the posterior mediastinum, we have anterior mediastinum. Where you have inferior mediastinum, you have middle mediastinum. Okay. So we can call it SAM. In the inferior mediastinum, we have SAM. That is S for superior mediastinum, A for anterior mediastinum, and M for middle mediastinum. Once again, watch out. Who does not know SAM? It's the name of a person. Samuel, Sam. Hi, Sammy. Sam, you're back. Oh, his name is Sam. Okay, like movie star, Sam Udochi, like maybe football star, now. So that's what we are saying. So we move to the next concept now. We are still looking at structures in vertebral levels and the structures. You can see also, okay, T4. What else do you see in T4? You see manibrum, you see arc of aorta, you see jugular notch. So are you seeing it now? Because you say between T1 and T4 is the superior mediastinum. What structure do we find? Not that those are the only structure, but these are anatomical and clinically significant structures. If you hear, say I hear, that structure you should know. If you touch that part, what is the examiner likely to ask you? Okay, what is a patient? They'll say, it's paining me here. You should be able to know as a clinician or someone who have learned one or two. Oh, it's because I have issue with this. Okay, let me take him to a cardiologist or let me take him to do you get this kind of doctor to pay this or this, depending on the place, okay, and they do the test. If that is also, the person can now refer you to another doctor and you do this. So this is why you should know a little thing about everything. everything. There are some people, they don't know anything about anywhere. It's not good. You go to a place, you should know where the police station is. You should know where the hospital is. You should know where they sell, soft things for breakfast. You know where to where they take bike, or where they take a taxi or boat. You should know a little thing. You need to know laundry. You need to know the sit out. You need to know it. You need to know areas that are no go areas at certain people. You need to know some laws. Know a little thing about anything. Don't say, oh, it doesn't bother me. I'm not doing medicine. I'm not doing nursing. I'm not doing pharmacy. I'm not doing this MLS or PT. I'm not doing. No. That's not how life is. Let's not be careless. If not, we will pay for our carelessness. Let's try and be cautious, polite, and curious. Okay, we move on. So we have the first, we have the money broom, we have the arc of aorta, we have the sternal angle of B. So the mass now that we're saying was M for money broom, A for angle of sternum. Okay, and then it has given us a perfect. See how this thing work out? It's as if God will know we will need something to stand for that A, so it become mass. It gives us arc of aorta. Please don't forget this, because when we're learning the great vessels of the thorax, we still talk about this arc of aorta. All right, that the arc of aorta starts from the ascending aorta, and the ascending aorta originates from the aortic orifice, which is from the ventricle, and it is the ventricular inlet outflow tract, ventricular outflow tract. As a matter of fact, or a matter of specificity, left ventricular outflow tract is what begins the aortic orifice, and the aortic orifice gives rise to the ascending aorta, and the ascending aorta, after this angle of sternal angle of Lewis that we are discussing here, will continue as arc of aorta. Now the arc of aorta does what? It passes to the left, and where you have the sternal angle of Lewis again to this other side, it continues as what? Descending aorta. That descending aorta now from T. Okay. So you get the point we are making. Vertebral levels, we've seen level 1 to 4, the structures that they mass. Okay, mandible, arc of aorta, and sternal angle of Lewis. And we've told us that sternal angle of Lewis, okay, is where you have most of the questions. A lot of things happen at the sternal angle of Lewis. It ends the ascending aorta. It begins the arc of aorta. It ends the arc of aorta. It begins descending aorta. It's a whole lot in that. So it's a serious reference point. That's why examiners ask. Now, of the bullet that are shot to hand robbers, okay, is at that point, is around that region, that angle of Lewis. Okay, most of the boxing that wrestlers receive is from that point. Okay, so most of the unhealthy play people undergo is at that point. The load, okay, that people take is on that point. People carry a lot of load on their head and they complain chest pain because they say it's a joint. They say angle of Lewis, sternal angle of Lewis. Do you follow? Okay, so we continue, and we said T1 to T4. So we've seen this one, not more. I think we've extracted all the information here. Okay, the information here. The Zyvor process, okay, is between. So you can pick your marker again and say T, okay, the anterior. You have the Zyvor process in the anterior, body of Zyvor process in anterior, body of sternum, okay, in anterior. So that's how much structures are here in this particular diagram for vertebral levels. But in this particular diagram, the vertebral levels has structures from T4 now. Okay, let's put it this way, from T5 now, okay, from T5 now to T12, you have sternal angle of Lewis, no. You have manubrosternal joint, manubrosternal joint, okay. What else? You have body of sternum, we've already said that, okay. Xyphisternal joint, okay. So we have both Zyvos process and xyphisternal joints. Remember, we have talked about C6SMS. C6SMS, we talked about that, and one of the X there was for xyphisternal joint. Now, what else you find is that between C4 Okay, between C5 and C4, you also find the epigastric fossa. Okay, you find the epigastric fossa. You also find the diaphragm and you find the heart. So you find the heart, find the diaphragm, find the epigastric, okay, epigastric fossa, okay. You find the xiphoid process. So you can say the hex, the hex. Okay, the hex. D for diaphragm, H for heart, E for epigastric fossa, X for xiphoid joint. Okay, so let's say MD hex. Let's put it that way. MD hex. MD managing director. MDH. So that's what you find. Okay, in the T1. Okay, sorry, in the T5 to T12. That's what you find the T, whereas you find mass in the T1 to T4. Are you seeing how we are building this thing now? Okay, so that is that about that. Now we are done with that very quickly. Let's look at thoracic outlet. Let's look at thoracic outlet. I've told you this diaphragm is a topic on its own, and we are going to show you diaphragm is the musculofibrous partition between the thorax and the abdomen. Okay, that's its own blood supply. He said slim soup. The upper lumbar right, the upper right third lumbar artery, slim, the sphenic, the superior epigastric artery, L for the lower third posterior intercostal artery, I for slim soup, okay, the P for pericardiac phrenic artery, and a whole lot of them. So when we come, don't worry, when we come there, we're going to talk about the slim soup. And the S is superior this thing, and then the U is upper lumbar right, and then the P there is you slim. So the M there is musculophrenic artery and all that. So we're going to see those arteries that supply diaphragm, veins that supply diaphragm, vein that returns from diaphragm, okay, drainage from diaphragm, space openings in diaphragm, okay, hernias of diaphragm and all those. We're going to see that and in a video. So make it simplified. It's just cut in. Now the next thing we want to look at is this. Please take note of the things we are sharing. Take note of the things we are sharing, because we are going to we're going to interact with you. If you happen to be a host, we are going to ask you question. If we are going to make sure that you really understood what we're doing. Okay, so we in summary talked about very tall rats travel very bright street to avoid cars, and the very is vertebral levels, and we've talked about two vertebral levels or three. Okay, we said the superior mediastinum, inferior mediastinum, and posterior mediastinum. T1 to T4 is the superior, T4 to T12 is the inferior, T5 to T12 is the posterior, T1 to T4 is the mass, manibrum, arc of aorta, and sternal angle of Lewis. And then T5 to T12, you have the MD hex. HEX is hex. Okay, MD hex. So there's a managing director called Hex, Mr. Hex. Okay, so M there stands for what? It stands for, okay, the D there stands for the diagram, and then the H there stands for the heart, E stands for epigastric fossa, and the X stands for xiphoid joint. What the M that I forgot? You think I didn't forget? That's why I looked down. I didn't see it. But now as I remember xiphoid joint, I remember the other one, which is what? Manibrosternal joint. Okay, manibrosternal joint. Okay, so let's move on. So that's how we say study it, store it, share it, sing it, see it, and it will sink in. Okay, and stay mastered forever. Okay, as long as you want to. Okay, so we have done that here. It would have been a lot of times to end this meeting, but we are ending it by 9:30. We started 7:30 something, we're ending it by 9:30. That would be about from 7:30 to 8:30. That's a 1 hour. 8:30 to 9:30. That's a 2 hour. Doing 2 hour on a session is not bad. Your lecture used to be 2 hours, not interactive like this, not amazing like this, not mesmerizing and captivating like this. Not say, of course, some of your lectures, I can swear you enjoy it and all that. But how do you become at the end of the lecture? Okay. Oh, we have a nice lecturer who can teach, and there's not like unto him in all the earth. That's wrong. Everybody has leadership quality in them, only that they are not given opportunity to raise it. They have a lot to cover. That's why they scatter those things like that. But here in this channel, we give you some responsibility to make sure you are also coming up to be a superstar. If the sky were to be, if we were to be stars, the sky would, there will still be spaces in the sky. So there's no need for envy. There's no need for jealousy. Okay. You have what you need. I don't need what you have, so I don't jealous you. I have what I need. You don't need what I have, so you don't jealous me. If I know I have what you need, like I know I have what you need, which is this knowledge, I share with you. So I share everything I could with all my heart, with all my mind with you. That way you don't need to jealous me. All we both enjoy. You see, when we share, it is the love that satisfies. But when we don't share, it is the load, okay, that does not satisfy, that qualify. Okay, we move on. We are done with the levels and the structures that are found there. Okay, let's move into another thing, thoracic outlet. As you look at thoracic outlet, very important, you see here, thoracic outlet. This is the first time, okay, this is the next time thoracic outlet is being discussed. Is being discussed. And so what do you find in the thoracic outlet? Look at it. Okay, you find the muscles, the diaphragm. So as you talk about the thoracic outlet, okay, we talk about the diaphragm. That's the first thing you find there. What's the next thing you find there? Okay, the next thing you find in the thoracic outlet is the aortic hiatus. Aortic hiatus. And this aortic hiatus, we said it is the origin of the abdominal aorta. You found it at the origin of the abdominal aorta, aortic hiatus. Okay, so this you won't appreciate except you have listened to a video session we had on abdominopelvic region and its radiographic appearances. You're going to appreciate when we talk about, sorry, not that topic. The topic is abdominal vessels. That's the topic that was discussed in that video. Is in this channel. Go watch it. We say that the abdominal aorta, okay, is what give rise. And there's no how you're understanding, you will not be mastering. And that's the goal of what we are doing. Remember, a life without a goal runs like a goat. So if you set out to watch a video, watch it to the end. The goal is to capture what is in this picture, okay? And we draw your future closer, and you have a mental picture of a promising future in which you want to capture and feature inside. We are here, see here. So we have the number one, the diaphragm. Number two, aortic hiatus. Aortic hiatus. Watch it again closely. What else do you also find there in the thoracic outlet? Okay, you find the esophageal hiatus. Okay, esophageal hiatus. Okay, esophageal hiatus. Okay, that's the lumbar vertebra. Okay, so you can turn it to DAL, DAL. Come on, bro. You have formed an acronym now, and it sounds like a word. D for diaphragm. Okay, and then E for what? Esophageal hiatus. Okay, A for what? Aortic hiatus, and L for what? The lumbar vertebra. Can you imagine that? Lumbar vertebra. Just like the thoracic inlet, you have the thoracic vertebra passing through there. Okay, passing through the inlet. Okay, not passing, but it's part of it. Okay, it's part of it. Okay, so let's move on to another thing we'll find there. Look at another thing we'll find there. Okay, they're still talking about the thoracic outlet. Okay, what do you find? You find the cross, find the medial cross and the left cross, the right and left cross. Okay, so you find the right. So deal, we are finished with deal. Next thing you find is right and left cross, right cross. Okay, right and left cross. We can call it C cross. Okay, cross. Can see the cross there. The next thing you find is median arcuate lateral. You know, I said it yesterday. Median arcuate ligament, lateral arcuate ligament, medial arcuate ligament. Okay. So find the median arcuate ligament. Okay, you find the lateral arcuate ligament. You find the middle arcuate ligament. Okay, and what else you've also find? You find the rib. Okay, you find the what? The rib. So we say CRM. CRM. Okay, CRM. C is the cross, right and left cross. Okay, C as an F cross. R is the rib. Okay, M is the what? The median and middle ligaments. Okay, so how do we put it now? You can say M. You can say MCRL. CRL for some people stands for control. Okay, CRL to control. Okay, so M is for, you can say M squared. Median ligaments, okay, middle ligaments, C for cross, right and left cross, okay, and R for what? For ribs, L for lateral arcuate ligament. So median arcuate ligament, okay, lateral arcuate ligament. So don't forget, we said deal CL deal, my CML deal, okay, my CRL deal. So let's put it that way, my CRL deal. So for thoracic athlete, we use the acronym my CRL deal. Okay, so once again, you feel thirsty, you drink. Okay, so we are done with the thoracic outlet now, but let's still check in case we have any other thing there. I think there's something here that is pointing the T12. I think we have already talked about that. Okay. Okay, so it will now be TMCRL because you have T12. Did you notice this T12? So let it not be my CRL deal. Let it be CRLTM deal. That is CRLTM deal. What does that mean? Couple traditional marriage deal. Couple traditional marriage deal. So it's a way of relating what you, so each time you see people do marriage seminar, each time you know, or you oh, that's about thoracic athletes, thoracic, couples come a lot with issues in the abdomen and this period, these places. Okay, so each time you hear of couple, you remember, even in your clinic, you'll be remembering this channel. I tell you, you're gonna remember it. I promise you, you'll be good, you'll be fine. Okay, yeah, he said CRLTM deal. CRLTM deal. Okay, what does that mean? The C stands for right and left cross. The R stands for rib. The L stands for the lateral arcuate ligament. Now I'm going to spell arcuate for you. Okay, see it now. C, okay, R, C, sorry, ARCUATE, arcuate. Okay, arcuate ligament. Okay, so that's the meaning of CRL. So we said control TM deal. CRL, control TM deal. That CRL stands for control. For some people CRT is their own control. But me, CRL is for control. So control TM deal. So control C stands for what? You said it stands for what? Cruise, right and left cruise. You can see it in the structure. And the R stands for ribs. L stands for lateral arcuate ligament. Okay. Now TM, T stands for the 12th thoracic, okay, vertebra. All right. M stands for what? The middle and median arcuate ligament. So you have the middle arcuate ligament, the median arcuate ligament. Now the D for diaphragm, okay, E for epigastric fossa, okay, A for aortic hiatus, okay, and then L for the what? The lumbar vertebra. Does it make sense? It makes sense. So that's why we say unlocking anatomy. Just join, we are decoding, we are unlocking it, and you can't miss this for anything. Okay, no one does it this way. Okay, no channel does it this way. So we are trying to be the first to start it. Okay, and at least you have not seen. Can you tell one there's none? And that's not pride. So if I say I'm a male, am I the only male? Am I the first male? Will I be the last male? No. This knowledge has been. Bible says there's nothing that is that has not been, and there's nothing that will be that has not been before. So what has is what will be, and what will be is what has been, and what has been will be. So as he did it before, he will do it again. Do you get? So I can predict you will succeed because of this principle you are following. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So let's move on. We are almost getting to the end of the session. We have done vertebral levels, mass, okay, and what? Do you still remember? Mass and what? Okay, we said MD hex. You almost forget me too. I almost forget. I have to wait again to recall it. You know what you learn for the first time, you need to say it over and over again before it will make sense to you. Okay, let's move on. We are moving on. So as we move on, we talked about mass means manibrum, A for aortic aorta, S for sternal angle of Lewis. That is what is found in the superior mediastinum in the vertebral level 1 to 4. Vertebral level 5 to 12, you have MD hex. M stands for what? Watch this now. Manubrosternal joint. Okay. And D stands for what? The diaphragm. And then H stands for what? The heart. Okay. And then E stands for what? It stands for the epigastric, okay, and then epigastric fossa, and then this one stands for this, okay. So you are seeing the epigastric fossa again, okay, epigastric fossa again, okay. So now in the thorax, we said we have what? In the thorax, what do we say? We say we have what? CRL That's control TMD. Okay, this deal of traditional marriage is a control one. C is the right and left cross, R is the rib, L is the lateral arcuate ligament, okay, T is the 12th thoracic vertebra, and then what do you have there is that M is the middle and median, okay, middle and median arcuate ligament. So middle arcuate ligament, median arcuate ligament, okay. Is it middle or medial? It's medial, not middle. Medial. So just like you have lateral arcuate ligament, you have middle arcuate ligament. Lateral away, lateral from the arcuate. Medial towards. Remember what we say about lateral and medial? Medial is towards, lateral is away. So medial arcuate, you even make it easy. So if you remember lateral arcuate ligament, you can easily remember medial arcuate ligament. While the other one is median, meaning middle. Okay, middle, the ligament that is in the middle. Okay, so the D for diaphragm, E for epigastric fossa, A for aortic hiatus, and the L is for lumbar vertebra. We are done with that. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. Is there anywhere else we find thoracic outlet? Let's check in anywhere else we find thoracic. Anywhere else we find thoracic outlet? Okay, so you can check as we are scrolling to the screen. Nowhere else we find thoracic outlet. Okay, nowhere else we find thoracic outlet. I seen it now. Okay, this extrinsic wall. There's nowhere else we find thoracic outlet. Are you following? Are you seeing it now? Okay, thoracic inlet and outlet. Now this particular diagram shows you everything. Okay, a costal margin, cervical process, infrasternal angle, and all that. Asternal or subcostal angle. All right, so we're going to talk about angle later on. Okay, when we're talking about the ribs. Okay, the ribs. Okay, so we are done with vertebral levels. We are done with thoracic outlet. Then the relations is we have posterior relations, anterior relations, lateral relations, upper relations. The acronym there is PAUL. Who does not know PAUL? PAUL. You wonder how this thing comes, and you wonder how we brought this thing from. I think it is intuition. I think it is divine. I think it's God's help. Okay, and we began to show you. First, you start by practicing. Then, when you master it, it comes by intuition. So when you start, it will give you some tough time. But when it comes, you don't need even AI to do what you need to do, because you yourself, you have this fearful speed of accuracy, frightening speed of accuracy. Do you follow? Thumbs up if you are with me. So we move on. So relation, we have Paul. Paul is anterior relation, posterior relation, okay, posterior relation, anterior relation, upper relation, and lateral uh, relation. And lateral relation. So let's go look at it very clearly. Let's go look at it very clearly. Okay, the relations. What are the relations? We have the relations somewhere. Okay, good. Look at it. AUL. Are you seeing it now? And but the material is not arranged that way. That's why this channel is unique. There is no channel that does it this way. We pick material and we analyze the material. We make it too easy for students to understand. When we are any student who want to understand as we've understood, we need to watch the video and be a part of it. Now, or they pay us, okay? They pay us and we'll be very glad to help their ignorance, exchange it with wisdom. We politely destroy their ignorance, if you hear that here, and then we replace it with knowledge, such a distinctive knowledge. So you can pay us to get this done. Okay, now you can even appreciate us. The one we have even done, is it easy? Yes, because we don't even have the time. You appreciate this one we have done. Okay, you appreciate this one. You can say, oh, because of what we've done, please send me your motivation. Let me, bless your life. You're a blessing to me. Yeah, and then it will be wonderful. So now let's move on. PAUL, Paul, posterior, anterior, upper, and lateral relation. Now, the lateral relation, you have the ribs. The upper relation, what do you have? You have the neck. So the upper relation continues, okay, as the neck. All right, continues as the neck. That's the upper relation of the thorax. Okay, and then the anterior relation, you have the upper border of mandibular sternum. Okay, so anterior relation is mandibular sternum. Okay, mandibular sternum. Okay. So the mandibulosternal joint. Do you remember? Mandibulosternal joint, MSJ. Okay, mandibulosternal joint. Okay, and the posterior relation, okay, are superior surface of the body of first thoracic vertebra. Okay, this is the relation of the thoracic inlet. Is the relation of the thoracic inlet. So it means P is T1. T1. Superior surface of body of first thoracic. And so ST1. ST1. Okay. ST1 is superior. Okay. Superior surface of, okay, first thoracic body. So are you seeing it now? Very simple. Superior surface of the first, as at the back there, superior surface of the first thoracic what? Vertebra. Okay, and then the anterior is the border of mandible. There's a mandible here close to the sternum or joint to the sternum, and then the upper is the what is towards the neck, continuous neck. That's all. It's not difficult. Okay, so we're almost rounding up. We have about 5-10 minutes to finish this session. Okay, then the next thing we look at is the venous drainage. The venous drainage. This one I'll use flow chart. Okay, we said it starts from, okay, let me show you in the screen so that you don't say I've already studied before I come to do this. Then what's the difference between you and another channel who finish cramming it, memorizing it, seeing it, capturing it, and they come and pour it for us, and we say, oh, blessed art thou and your video. So look at this venous drainage. You need just 5 veins in the whole of this. You need just 5 veins. So if you can sketch any tree and then you bring out 5 veins, that's all. The first vein you're going to find is the ascending lumbar vein. That's the first vein, ascending lumbar vein. So you draw a flow chart. So for the venous drainage, you have ascending lumbar vein, ascending lumbar vein, ascending lumbar vein. And the next one is subcostal vein, subcostal vein. The next one is hemiazygous vein, hemiazygous vein. The next one is going to be the accessory hemiazygous vein, accessory hemiazygous vein. And the next one is going to be the azygous vein, azygous vein. And the next one is going to be the superior vena cava, the superior vena cava. Do you follow? Okay, you can see the inferior vena cava. Okay, it drains, part of the inferior vena cava drains into the superior, to the subcostal vein, and part of the ascending lumbar vein drains into the subcostal vein. You can see it drains into the subcostal vein. All of them drain into where? The hemiazygous vein. And the hemiazygous vein drain or returns the blood to accessory hemiazygous vein. And the accessory hemiazygous vein, watch this diagram showing you. Tracy, forget every other labeling there. Just pay attention to what I'm showing you, okay? Because you are just starting this anatomy. And there's another area, another time you're going to go back to this. But for now, this is what they want you to know. It's level by level. You are not going to learn all the human parts in year 1 or year 2 or year 3, okay? Learn this part now. Trace the vein. See how you're tracing the vein from the from the inferior vena cava. Inferior vena cava empties into IVC, empty into the subcostal, just like the ascending lumbar vein, okay, ascending lumbar vein as drains into the subcostal vein. Now the subcostal vein empties into the hemiazygous vein, and hemiazygous vein empties into the way, accessory azygous vein, accessory hemiazygous vein, and that empties into the way. Now pause this video, pause what I'm doing, pause what you're listening to, and then say, trace it the way I trace it. That's how to internalize. I'm going to give you a few seconds for that. Okay, so I believe you must have done that. So let's continue. We have traced the veins, okay? We have trained the venous drainage, and that's all for that. That's all for that. Okay, let's move to the next one, blood supply. We said for blood supply, let's look at the blood supply now. That's arterial blood supply to the thorax. We've done venous returns from the thorax. We're now looking at, now, where's my biro? Look at it. You said you find D there, is it not true? You find C there, is it not true? You find I there, is it not true? You find S there. So the acronym is SCID. Who does not know CID? CID. It has to do with police force. CID. Okay. So write in the comment what is CID. Okay. I know it stands for so many things, but in the police force, especially the sub-Saharan police force, maybe like Nigerian police force or Ghana police force or whatever here, okay, what does CID stand for? Now, I now add S to CID. I call it seed. You know spelling of seed is SEED. Now, seed in English is seed, CI is SCID in anatomy. Yes, that's how I call it. So I can remember what it stands for. So what is S? Look at it, supreme intercostal artery. Supreme intercostal artery. What is C? Costocervical artery. Okay, costocervical artery. What is I? Internal thoracic artery. Look at it, internal thoracic artery. See, now we are studying from book and we are saying it out. If you don't doubt your study, shout your study. If you hear, say I hear. You say it out. Let your voice overshadow the noise in your mind, the discouraging noise in your mind, the discouraging impression people have left you with, the discouraging impression that the bulky work has left with you, the strange language in Greek has left you with. That's what we are talking about. And then when you're done with that, S for supreme intercostal artery. C for costocervical artery. I for what? Internal thoracic artery. And D for what? Deep cervical artery. Deep cervical. Watch how we store these things in acronyms. Watch how we store this in acronym. Okay, I didn't give you, somebody saying, somebody may be thinking, oh, he didn't give us acronym for the venous returns. Don't worry, I'm going to come out with that. Okay, let's see. ASHAAS. So we call it Ashas. Ashas. Okay, let's put it this way. As, ha, as. Okay. It doesn't sound well. It sounds impolite, but you see, YouTube said If what you're saying is impolite, but it's meant for educational purpose, okay, that it is permitted. So this is where authority or students have the authority to sense there is a need, there's a reason why they're saying that. They're not saying that because they want to create proclivities for inordinate or what we call juvenile delinquencies. No, no, okay, or inappropriate, socially inappropriate scenarios. That's not the goal. Don't try this at home. Okay, these are language only reserved for those who have the authority to say that, the license to say that. So, as, her, as, ha, as, her, as. Okay. So, as, her, as, that is in Venus returns. As stands for what? Ascending lumbar vein. S stands for what? Subcostal vein. H stands for what? Hemiazygous vein. S stands for what? Hemiazygous vein. Now, H stands for what? Accessory hemiazygous vein. A stands for what? Azygous vein. S stands for what? Superior vena cava. Now, someone say you didn't put inferior vena cava. That's inferior vena cava vein. Okay, we said inferior vena cava vein empties to the subcostal vein. All right, so you can say as, I, her, as so it's not necessarily you can put, you just need to know it. There's just some things you just need to, you can say, what's your name? Say, who told you that's your name? And you do I need someone to tell me that? You just know it? Do you get that? Things you just need to know. Things you just need to know. Okay, you don't need to have reasons to know it. It's just a knowing. If you if people used to say, if you don't know it, forget about it. So we've done vertebral levels, we've done thoracic outlet, we've done relations, uh, we've done venous returns, we've done blood supply. So we want to pause there because it's exactly 2 hours into what we are doing. So what is remaining now is thoracic cavity, okay, the thoracic wall, okay, the action and the clinicals. So action and clinicals. So, and then we talk about the actions and the clinical. The street there is the spaces. Talk about the space. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 things is remaining for us to talk about. You know, there were 10. We've talked about 5. I don't think that is bad because the 5 we talk about is a stuff on its own. So the afternoon by 3 p.m. we are going to meet again live. We're going to meet again live. And we call it, in fact, if you see the title for that one, it's something else. We call it Connecting Upper and Lower Limb. Okay, upper and lower limb with THORAX. It's such a wonderful scenario. Let me show you. You need to love this. You will love this. Let me show you. Just a minute. I'm going to show you. So I told you you're going to see, can you see it? Live by 3 p.m. today. Live by 3 p.m. today. It's going to be wonderful. Don't miss it for anything. It's a tap thorax, abdomen, pelvis, and perineum. It's a live stream, so we are connecting. It's a connect upper and lower limbs by 3 p.m. today. Okay, we are going to connect upper and lower limb with tap. It's a live stream, so tap live stream connecting upper and lower limb. So we're going to be dealing with upper limb. See how it beautifully prepares you for thorax, abdomen, and perineum. It's going to be such a wonderful time. You can't miss this for anything. So I encourage you, join. It's going to be, see the connection, in a connection, your upper and lower limb, and the tap comes between. Your thorax is between the upper. So it's going to see. Let's not even start. Let's not even start, because we're going to start in such a unique way, and it's going to be a wonderful way. And in the night, okay, in the night, watch this now. Okay, in the night session is going to be wow. This now, I'm just the only one in the night to bring a guest in. Okay, so if you want to be a guest, book down. You can book for to be a guest, to study with us, to study it with us, to learn it with us. Okay, can be our guest. All right, let's see it. Let's see what do we have there. Let's see the night session flyer for the night session. This is amazing. Can you imagine this? Say, let's discuss upper and lower limbs by 9 p.m. tonight. Let's discuss thorax, upper and lower limb by night. So we are going to bring, guests in to build this business with us. I wish we can do this with different guests, different period, maybe 30 minutes or 20 minutes or so. We generate lots of link to discuss. So we are going to be doing that. And this hits me again. Maybe we do maybe 30 minutes with a guest from a certain school. We study the first thing with the person. See, when you open your mouth, meaning we are going to discuss in such a way that each time you are talking, you're saying this thing and say, sit. If you say someone sit, you are remembering rotator cuff muscle, SITS, that is supra, S for supraspinatus, I for infraspinatus, T for teres minor, and S for subcapularis. If you tell someone sip Gary, you are remembering the S for what, and the I for what, and the P for what, superior mediastinum, inferior mediastinum, and posterior mediastinum. You are trying to do what? You are trying to, as you talk, anytime you are talking, it is anatomy. Anytime your mind is, which mnemonics does this fit in into anatomy? So it's going to be such a wonderful session, and this is just a episode. We are making our book interesting in such a way that you will not miss your clinical days, preclinical days, or your study days. Once again, see you at the top. Like, subscribe, share, and let's make it a wonderful session in this thing. Thumbs up and shout out to you. Get people to subscribe this. You medical student, clinical student, pharmacy student, preclinical student, nursing student, optometry student, MLS student, public health student who are doing clinics and paraclinics and preclinical studies in anatomy, physiology, and biochemistry. They're going to have this, they're going to thank you for this. They're going to thank you for it. So that's what we are saying. Let them join, let them subscribe, tell them to join, tell them to subscribe before you leave them, so that each time we upload a video that is going to involve them, going to impact them, going to influence them for good, it's going to get them better for themselves, better version of themselves, and better influence by themselves, to themselves, for themselves, from themselves, with themselves. Guess what? They're going to get the notification, they're going to get the shout out, and we will be fine. Together we can build a better and a brighter and a wonderful world. Shout out and see you at the top. Thank you. Bye. Okay, bye-bye.